Igwe, hello. This is Anna-Leah Simon reporting for NB Media Co-op from Elsipogtog. Today I am speaking to Elder Anita Joseph of Elsipogtog. She was recently awarded the 2025 New Brunswick Human Rights Award, along with Chinazem Igwe of Moncton, who received the Youth Human Rights Award. For the past 5 years, Anita has been part of a research study called Eimeg tleiaoltieg, We Are Home Where We Belong, Home for Life. The study aims to help Indigenous elders continue to live in their homes as long as possible. This work involves interviewing Elsipogtog elders in their first language, Mi'kmaq. She also sits on the Restorative Justice Committee in Elsipogtog and offers culturally compassionate end-of-life care to members of the community by providing prayers in Mi'kmaq. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining us today, and congratulations on your award.
Thank you very much. It was an honor to get the award. I was very much honored, and thank you very much for having me.
What did receiving the New Brunswick Human Rights Award mean to you?
Oh my God, it meant a lot because I never thought I was eligible, or I mean not eligible, but how would I say that? I wasn't like as if I wasn't doing anything for it. Like I was just. I thought it, you know, I didn't earn it at first, or I didn't know what to. But after a while, as I got to know, and I got the feeling that, the things that people saw in me that I didn't see myself, and I was always putting myself behind, and I didn't want to push ahead. So it was an eye opener for me, really, because I saw a lot of stuff in me that I didn't realize. Yeah, that's all. It meant a lot.
Where do you think that comes from, like the having a hard time believing in yourself?
Hmm. I think that I was an orphan. I was orphaned with my 4 brothers at a very young age. I was 4 years old when our mom died, and but we were raised by a very, very, very nice uncle and aunt. And along with their 9 children, 5 of us, it was a big family. And I find it was always, I was always putting myself in the back and giving or serving, and I guess that's what motivated me to kind of stand back and give. Yeah.
Can you speak about the research study Eimeg tleiaoltieg?
Eimeg tleiaoltieg. Yes, that was it was a project we started. Actually, it was started by an elder, like wanting to help the elders to stay home as long as possible. And it was she was an elder herself, and she was trying to help the elders stay home for as long as they can in their own house, because we've watched how it was with elders that were being taken, because we don't have an elder house here in Elsie, so they had to take our elders out to be taken care of in English or French communities where the elders could not understand, and we've watched them deteriorating really, really fast, and they just didn't want to leave the reserve or their home. So this lady thought of a way to keep them home as long, and comfortable as long as possible in their own house. And so they came up with this Eimeg tleiaoltieg, meaning that we're home where we belong. And it was a really, really nice, because it was, what we did was we went to interview elders in their own homes, where, of course, it was the time of COVID. So we went to their homes to interview them and to get to know them or what they want or what they needed in their houses. And we really loved it because it was so nice to get to know these elders or talk to these elders in our own language, where they understood and they were so happy to be home and to talk in their own language, and they're talking about their cultures and all that. And for us, it was a very good experience and a very learning experience for us. It was nice.
What have you learned from interviewing Elsipogtog elders in Mi'kmaq?
We learned that the elders were, some of them were lonely in their own house. Some of them were like mistreated, actually. Some of them were living in houses that weren't built for like wheelchair accessible, like wide doors or like even, so it was hard for them. And so we learned that they needed like their houses to be fixed. And so we interviewed them. When they answered the questions, they we got to, and they weren't, it was all anonymous. What do you call that? Like, yeah, like they weren't named in the questions that they answered. They were just numbered. And we would put the things together, whatever they wanted or whatever they needed, and then we'd present that to their chief. So that way the chief and the council could easily help the elders at home. Talking with the elders, it was very good because we were talking to them in their own language. They love to hear people talking in their own language, where it's their first language in Mi'kmaq. And we talked to them in Mi'kmaq fluently, and they just loved it. They enjoyed the visits, and they, like, we the elder to elder thing, that's what we liked, because they were like, in their, that's what they want to see. They want to be staying in their own homes and talking their own language, using their own cultures and all that. So that was really nice to talk to them in Mi'kmaq, in their own language.
No, what was the response to the research?
The response to the research was that, like I said, some of them were hungry and some of them were lonely, and they didn't want to be moved out of the reserve. And actually, they wanted their own home in the reserve, and actually that's what came out. But we interviewed a lot of people. We got out and interviewed other reserves, and that was fun too, because we knew some of the people, like Red Bank, that's Nedabanagia, or Eel Ground, or like the Baktush, even the reserves. We all went to the other reserves to help the elders there, because they liked the way we were doing it in LC. So we really traveled there, because we got to visit even the north, like Nunavut, yeah, and Nutashish, or all those reserves, to help them too, because it was really a good program, and we found it helped a lot of elders, and it was good to talk to them in our language, like here, especially, and yeah.
So you help provide end of life care by providing prayers in Mi'kmaq. Can you explain why this is so important?
Well, I've always I guess, going back to my aunt who looked after me, she was very much Christian, and she used to. I used to go with her to. That was what she used to do. Would go help, or like then it was an elder dying in their own house, and she would go and pray with them, or even comfort them. Try to. So I guess I learned from there that it's important to die with dignity, and to die to feel, how would I say, um, I can't say safe, but I mean to die knowing that your family that you're leaving is in good hands. They'll be okay. It's okay for you to leave, and to pray with them, and it was good to see that too. That's why I helped, really. Yeah.
Can you talk about your experience on the Restorative Justice Committee?
Yes, well, that was a good experience too, because it was like it was troubled teens, troubled families, even troubled grandparents or things like that, and you can I just prayed with them or talked to them, like to tell them there's help out there. There's a lot of people that care for them, and and even there was one lady, she wanted me to pray with her, like after the fact, so we went. I have the keys to the church, and I asked the priest if it was okay if she could go in and light a candle, and we set the rosaries in there, and things like that. That I wanted them to know that there's always somebody there praying for them, even if that's all it takes. Or
Is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up?
oh my goodness, I don't know, but the thing is, when we interviewed the elders, uh, they wanted a nursing home right in the reserve where they wouldn't be taken out of the reserve or other places where they didn't, like in the reserve, they would have their own people looking after them and practicing their culture or talking in their own language, and they'd be home still. There's that home again. So I really would love to see an elders home built in Elsipogtog. That would be wonderful.
Thank you so much for speaking to NB Media
No
Co-op today.
problem at all, and thank you for having me.